No. No. Yes.
Project Nigel?
No. Project Nigel. Transitface day. I don't particularly want to spend any time doing this, but I'm going to have to do. I need to look at the brakes. Driving around with the brakes on is not what you're supposed to do. It's not a good idea. Nobody's going to say it's a good idea, surely. But binding brakes, how can that work? It's like trying to talk while gargling water or play tennis without any elbows. So far, I have a wheel off. The next job is to take this caliper off without getting too frustrated. Now then, there's the caliper off. Now I'm considering it might be this slider here, because that's all bunched up there like it shouldn't be. It should be like that. See? Brake caliper on the floor. Pistons are a bit sticky. That's what it was. Slider's okay, pistons a bit sticky. Managed to free them up. Let's put it back together. It's time to find out if I've done a mend or just wasted my morning. See the afternoon. I've just put the wheel back on without showing any of the workings, and that rolls quite freely. This is the tricky part. If I put my foot on the brake there and now go and test it and it's still rolling freely, then I've fixed it. Moment of truth. Yay! No, what I don't know is how long that will stay fixed for. The only real way to find out whether that's worked or not is to take it for a little test drive, which is what I'm about to do right now. Gosh, my face is dirty. Well, it certainly seems to be moving along a little bit more freely, and that's what I want to happen. I need to bleed these brakes. That didn't really go too well there. I was pressing the pedal down and nothing really was happening. That's a rather strange number plate. Unusual spacing. Well, I think that's done the job. I just need to bleed them as well, because although it's rolling nicely, it's only stopping if I'm pumping the brake. Make it a pleasure to drive at last. I mean, not an actual pleasure. You can't have pleasure driving a Transit, surely. That's impossible. Next job is one of my ZS. Everything's fine except for one thing. Thermostats. It's not really warming up properly. So if I want to enjoy thrashing around these roundabouts a bit more, I need the engine temperature to be where it should be. Otherwise I'm likely to end up with issues in the not too distant future. Now, to change the thermostat, one must get down behind the inlet manifold. And some say that you can do this just by reaching underneath there to get to it. But I'm not having that. It doesn't work for me. I can't make that happen. And besides, I don't see the point in making anything more difficult than necessary. The inlet manifold is only 7 13mm bolts to take off. Why make it difficult? I just don't get it. As I remember, I only really need a few tools for this as well. 13mm and 10mm and a 6mm and some grippers and a screwdriver and some paper. There probably is something else, but I'm going to crack on with that. Now look, the time is well, almost 3 o'clock, and I want to take this car back home afterwards, so I won't be tackling this if I wasn't reasonably sure I could crack on and get it done quick. Right, so slight change of plan. Look at this. This gasket's gone all baggy and completely useless, so it has to be replaced as well, and I don't have one, so I'm going to have to dart off to go and collect one. Look at this in front of me. Cracking. I happened to spot this car going up the hill just earlier on. Just the shape of a Rover always catches my eye, and I wasn't expecting it to be quite as clean looking as that. It looks really nice. I was making good time with that thermostat job there, but that stretched inlet manifold has made it impossible to finish unless I go and get another one. There's no point trying to push it back into place because it will just caused leaks somewhere. So, yet again, I'm on the road to Rover Revival, where Craig has got one. He said he'll keep there. I think he was just about to go home, but he's hanging on just so I can come and collect it, which is kind of nice of him. What's frustrating here is every other time I come up here I'm in my truck and I'm holding people up, and today it's the other way around. I'm not in my truck, I'm in Project Nigel, and Nigel wants to go much quicker than that Sprinter van and the two following cars. More people smiling and laughing at the car as I go along. Happens every time. It's mental, this thing. Look at this. Oh, right. So the ZS is obviously my wife's favourite car, and I'm sorry to say that if it comes between the choice of Project Nigel and Project Morris, this one, that's rated, still easily wins. It's just brilliant. Okay. It's a strange thing there. Let's go! So, it is possible to have a flying visit when going to Craig's, because I just managed it then. I was in and out within 10 minutes. Someone just taking a picture of Project Nigel then. That's kind of funny. I wonder where that'll pop up. Quite a while now I've really rated the K-Series engine, and I'm going to tell you why I think it's much better than something like a powerful diesel. Why have you got like a diesel with all that thump low down, that kind of instant gratification, so easy to drive quickly, and most people think so satisfying because you don't really have to put any effort into it. But all the power's gone. You just get it all in one go, and that's it, and you're used to feeling all the power that it has all of the time. Whereas something like a K-Series, and especially a 1.4, it's not particularly torquey. So the only time you get that power is when you're working the engine, it's when you're thrashing it. And you're not going to do that all the time. So the rest of the time it's just a nice, easy to drive at town speed kind of car. And then when you thrash it, it gives you a surprise. You end up really enjoying it because you don't do it all the time. You can't. That's why I think they're great. We get past here. Yeah. Well, I wanted to get the job done before I went home, and I had quite a big hiccup there. I had to spend at least an hour out. Well, yeah, over an hour actually, because it's rush hour traffic on the way to Mossley and on the way back as well. But have I done it? Can you hear? Can you hear that? Yes, I have. Of course I have. No, I haven't. Well, I'd call that a fail. Quite a disappointment, that. It's been a little while since I've been going home in the dark. Not that it's that late though, really. But what a disappointment. Oh, I'm so disappointed. I could almost raise my voice, but I won't do because I'm a gentleman. 2 jobs today. Neither are paying jobs, they're just things that need doing in order to keep doing. So to spend all day, and neither of them are actually properly right anyway. It's well, big letdown. Tomorrow I'm going to have to just pull that inlet manifold back off the ZS and see why it's leaking still. Something to look forward to.